Hello, welcome to another episode of Beer Man's Noble Beer Reviews. Today I have another beer from Holy Mountain Brewing Company out of Seattle, Washington. Um, this beer is called the Ox. I don't know if you can see there, it says ale aged in oak barrels. And it is 6.0 ABV. Says Saison brewed with orange zest, hop with Cascade, primary fermentation in oak, aged for 4 months in an oak fodder with one of our favorite Brett strains, re-fermented in the bottle with Brettanomyces, bottled July 2018. So, I guess it's like a year and a half old now. This must have been sitting a little bit when I got it, because I know I didn't get it that long ago. Not that it should matter. So I think one or two of the other Saisons that I got from them, they also just said like aged in oak fodder and then fermented with Brett, but they did come off as mixed culture. I don't know if this is going to be that way. I don't want to say I hope so, because I'm guessing that it's going to be really good either way, because that's usually just always the case with their beers. So crack it open and see what we got here. And I bought this bottle at Salud. Figured it would be appropriate to put it in my Salud glass. It doesn't say Salud on it, but this is from their Release the Funk event that they don't do anymore, unfortunately. It was a sour beer fest, which was a great time. I don't know if I would honestly ever go again, not because that it wasn't worth the money, but I just have trouble drinking sour beers for 4 hours. But if you're a huge, well, if they ever do it again, if you're a huge sour head and can just crush sour beers for a consistent amount of time, I would absolutely recommend it. But I'm just one of those people that can't really drink any style for too long. Even the lager festival I went to, that was predominantly just like Pilsners and Helles and the occasional Dunkel and that type of thing. Even that started wearing on me towards the end, but that was like 6 hours long, which was insane. I love these like fluffy, rocky Brett Brett beer heads that you can get. It'll just like, you know, stack on top of each other, but never actually overflow. I think it's awesome. So you can see it pours a somewhat cloudy, darker orange to like almost an amber color, with a rocky white head. Oh my god, that smells so good. Honestly, taking the first thing I thought of when I smelled this was Zillicoa. I don't know why, but this smells like their house mixed culture. I guess I shouldn't say I don't know why, because they're both really great breweries. But it is really similar to that. It's very like minerally, like wet rain on cement or wet rock aroma. There's a little bit of like a leathery character to it too. And I'm just describing like the general character that I get from Zillicoa's mixed culture, but this is really similar. But it kind of does have a little bit of like, sometimes when you get those really dry Brett beers, they almost come off like white grapey. I'm getting some of that in this too. I don't really know that I get the orange zest. Definitely got some funk to it. Yeah, I can't wait to drink this. Wow. So that is really interesting, like, because I was saying how this really smelled like Zillicoa mixed culture aroma. It does. But they're somehow able. I guess Zillicoa is the same way with some of their like Brett IPA was kind of similar. But the amount of complexity that they get out of the Brett strain, because this has, I mean, there's a very, very faint hint of acidity, but other than that, this is not sour. It is not tart. It is just very funky and dry. Like, there's a little bit mid-palate that makes me think that it's a little bit tart, but it disappears so quickly. I don't even think that it's acidity. I think it's something with the carbonation, because the carbonation is really nice and prickly. So it's highly carbonated, but it's not over the top, where it has like that carbonic acid character where it's burning your tongue. And I see a bug in my beer now, assuming that wasn't from the bottle. I mean, this is really like that deep funk horse blanket character that you can get from Brett. And maybe that's why it's called the ox, because, you know, an ox is like a farm animal. I know I'm stretching with that, but who knows? But I would say it's pretty rare to get something that's this funky that isn't also somewhat sour. So I think you really have to like funky Brett character to like this a lot, which I do, so that's great. But I could for sure see some people not liking this because they want that acidity behind it, because it just adds another layer, and it kind of distracts you from how much funk is actually there. With this, that's pretty much the main character. I wouldn't say that I'm really getting any like earthiness from the Cascade or any like citrusy character from the orange zest. I mean, maybe that tiny bit of what is perceivable acidity is actually something like from the orange, the citrus rind. I'm really not sure. That could be. But yeah, overall, this is a fantastic beer. I will say, don't buy this thinking it's a mixed culture Saison, though, because it's not. It is. I mean, it is a Saison, but it's more of just like a really funky, dry Brett Saison. So if you like that, this is absolutely a buy. I don't remember what this cost, but I think it was pretty reasonable. You know, this is one of... I bought this here in Charlotte, so this is one of the ones that they actually distribute. So they're not as expensive as the brewery only stuff, obviously. Yeah, I don't know what else more to say about this. I don't remember what it cost. I think it was like $18 for the 750, which I would definitely buy that again. Anytime I see any Holy Mountain anywhere or it's up for grabs, especially if it's one that I haven't had, even if it's one that I have had, if it's reasonably priced, I'll buy it. Sometimes I have trouble justifying it just because I think there's other things that I could get locally a little cheaper that are maybe not quite as good, but at least close. But they are still definitely in my top 5 breweries in the world. They just do so many different things really, really well. And I will for sure buy this again if I see it on the shelf. I don't know. I don't think I would trade for it. Just because if I wanted to trade for something like this, I would probably just trade for Hill Farmstead, which is actually, at least the more accessible ones are a little cheaper than this. But if this is a something that I can get locally, I would absolutely buy this. It's a fantastic, fantastic beer. But any new Holy Mountain that I haven't had, I definitely always grab it because I've never disappointed. So I Another Holy Mountain beer I highly, highly recommend. Check them out if you have not had anything from them. They are absolutely a world-class brewery. I think that's all I got in this one. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think, and I look forward to doing the next one. Thanks.